in drawing up the documents for registering the society of ISKCON, and also how to, all the legal affairs. Srila Prabhupada consulted with his mother. Yes. Came to our shores just turned 20, but if you look at the early photos, he looked like he was maybe 14 or 15, very boyish, young looks, and I'm sure we'll be very inspired by his presentation. Hare Krishna.
You had a program here for Advaitacharya's appearance? How many people came? 150. There's only like 80 here now, aren't there? Yeah. Will more come? Always get a little more there, don't they? Do you think this temple room is the same size, bigger or smaller? How much bigger? Under a third more. 1 1/4 times maybe. Okay. We'll sing a couple of quick songs. I'm not very good at singing, but bear with me. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Pratijana Ranjana Yasoda Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yasoda Nandana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Austater Sata Shri Sriman, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki, Jai Om Vishnupad Parama Saraswati Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Gauri Vaishnavini Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Shikoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Yamuna Mayi Ki, Ganchatava Ki, Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Namubhistam, Stapitam Yena Bhutali. Jai Namo. What's the first word in that? Samsara, but we don't call it the Samsara prayers. We're not praying to get. It's Samsara Danalalita Loka Turnaya Kalyan Ganaganasham. That we want to be rid from the Samsara. We want to make careful of the word. Like when the mantra said wrong, it becomes not the, this is the Virabhadra story, it becomes not the enemy of Indra, not the enemy, but the friend to Indra is saying wrong. He becomes the enemy. Interpretation there. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, did he do some translation? What did he write? The Guru Vastakam? What else did he do? When Prabhupada translated the books, he used, we were a bona fide Sampradaya because some of the others didn't like it because we came out a little different than the Madhava Sampradaya does. But he went and explained to them what? No, Prabhupada wouldn't use the commentaries of his disciples. Jiva Goswami. and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Remember those stories? And Vishwanath Chakravarti, pure, beautiful deity called Nila Madhava, who was being worshipped in secret somewhere. So he sent his head priest, where they were Sabaras, pig herders. And Vishvavasu was the head of this village. And they were worshiping this deity of Nila Madhava in secret. So this shows that in ancient times, actually in the Indian history book, they said that the caste ideas saw that caste birth. Krishna says, Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So Vijapati married the daughter of Vishvasu. And even though they were a family of pig farmers, they wanted to see the deity. No, I'm sorry. Vishvavasu did not want Vijapati to see this deity. But his daughter was married. The deity of Nila Madhava said, you're worshiping me to move the deities. Deities anymore, what have we lost out on? Just like, so I always try to maintain things. I don't want it to look like things are going backwards. Things can go backwards, doesn't it? Their theory is no, things could not have been advanced 5,000 years ago, more than. Look, Rasaraj is here. So you might think it's not possible. Vishvavasu convinced her husband that no, my husband did have the deity say this is what the deity wants. So he didn't imprison him, he let him go. And so Vijapati went back to King Indradumya and he told him about this beautiful deity and how he had dropped the mustard seeds on the way. Now we're brahmachari, look. It's the only brahmachari we have, right? And they went to the deity of Nila Madhava, they found the temple, and they opened the door, and what did they see? Nothing, because the deity was gone. And King Indradumya got very mad. He thought that Vishvavasu had cheated him and hidden the deity somewhere without telling him about it. And so, just then Narada Muni showed up. He always shows up to kind of stimulate the pastimes. He says, no, the Lord disappeared from here because he wants King Indradumya to in the form of Lord Jagannath, that he will worship him in the form of Lord Jagannath. But first, my father, Lord Brahma, wants me to bring King Indradumya to him. That too much time had passed and all those people were dead. So they had that on the History Channel. You make it into a deity. He heard they had no arms and legs, and they had big eyes, and he thought, so I can transfer, and I am the same Radharani, and it's very wonderful. But I still wish to be by the bank of the Yamuna River, or Jagannath. So when we're Kshetra, but did Advaitacharya live? So he played a pretty significant part. So Lord Chaitanya, when they have the they tried to push and pull and nothing happened. They tried to attach elephants, happened. And Lord Chaitanya put his head behind the cart and he pushed it clean so that when Krishna comes there. But Lord Jagannath promises Lakshmi that he'll be right away back, and he doesn't come back for 3 days. So the servants of Lakshmi come about the Tattva Darshanas. We talked about that. Narendra Mulak asked him to come to see this one sadhu. And he says, yeah, my father had lots of sadhus come to the house, but afterwards I'd see them smoking cigarettes and ganja and chasing girls. That's funny, we're talking like, you know, more than 100 years ago, right? So it was like 100. And what language was Bhaktisiddhanta speaking? With a bunch of people to help him. And he says that I have created opening. And he says that I have created the building and I've put the decorations. You just put the ornaments on. He says you at least maintain what I have done. And we find this can be difficult to maintain, but it's a desire of the spiritual master. We have to difficult in South Africa. We have Indians leaving the country. A lot went to us. Some think they just sprayed graffiti. But so we have to make sure to maintain people who were here like in the 80s and having a birthday party. And there was Ram Das and Seva Kunj, and they came with their wives and a few others. They were all here when the temple opened. Raise your hands again. 6. Raise again. 1, 2, 3, 8. 6%, because we may have, didn't they cut a string opening the temple to go, right? 37 and a half probably, because it was in 85. So 85 was 37 and a half years ago. So do you know any other people that were around in those days that don't come around anymore? Where are they? Where? Somewhere in Phoenix. You don't try to keep touch with these people? You try? Oh. Do they ever come? Marysburg gets maybe 60. Does that sound right, or you get more than 200? How many you get? Averaging what? 250? And Sri Radhanath gets 350? So that's about 650, including Peter Maritzburg. So they probably didn't get more than 6 when there was only one temple, did they? They did? They get more than 6 too. Now there's each the transcendental meditation, and in the Treta Yuga, he came to teach the process of sacrifice, and in the Dwarka Yuga, he comes for the process of deity worship, and in Kali Yuga, he comes to teach the chanting of the holy names. So we only know much about Kali Yuga, but Lord Chaitanya is the original form of Krishna. Usually the forms come that are Vishnu forms, and the difference is that in the Vishnu forms, he teaches about Vaikuntha, where God is realized in great ways, when the President of the United States with love and devotion. So Advaita Acharya came, the Mahavishnu, he came 52 years. Did he talk about Madhavinda? But I'm the godbrother of many of your gurus. I'm just a. Did he talk about Madhavinda? But I'm the godbrother of many of your gurus. I'm just a humble servant, and I'm just a humble servant. But you're the servants of a servant, so you have to serve me. Is that it? That's my humble servant philosophy. I'm just a humble servant, but since you're the servant of a servant, you have to serve me. Talk about Lord Chaitanya punishing Advaita Acharya to bring the form of the original, but he's the incarnation of who wanted him to come and teach about the intimate relationships in Vrindavan, particularly the Madhurya Rasa, the relationship of the gopis with Krishna. And Krishna himself has to come and teach that. Vishnu doesn't teach that. So he was praying and praying for some way for the original form of God to come. And so he would take a leaf cup and he put in it tulsi leaves and flowers, and then he would offer that and the Ganges water, and he would pray fervently for the incarnation of the Lord to come. And then he got a sign. When he put this leaf cup in the water, the cup started going upstream. So he knew that this was a good sign. So he followed it upstream, and it went to Sachi Mata. You know, in the different scriptures, it says that the Lord will come in Kali Yuga, and he will be the son of Sachi. And so, so to see if this was a divine child, miscarriage. See, it's interesting because this actually happened on 6 occasions, because the Chaitanya's pastimes parallel Krishna's pastimes, that the first 6 pregnancies were miscarriages. And the 7th one, Balaram appeared in Krishna's pastime, and Vishvarup, the older brother of Lord Chaitanya, appeared in Chaitanya's pastimes. So the first 6 times this happened, and Sachi Mata was distressed, and finally, on the 7th time, he said, no, don't worry, your child will become a great sannyasi. And the 8th time, he says, and this will be the personality of Godhead, the original Sri Krishna. And so she was pretty happy. She went home to tell Jagannath Mishra that their next child would be the original Supreme Personality of Krishna. Krishna has different forms, the Vilas forms and the Prakash forms. The Vilas are expansions, like when he expands as a gopis, his original form expands to other forms. And the Prakash forms are expansions, like starting with Balaram, Sankarshan, Pradumya, Aniruddha, and Vishnu. These are the Prakash forms. They are different, but simultaneously one and yet different. Whereas the Vilas is the same thing, but as a duplicate, like when Krishna was with the queens in Dwarka, or when Krishna was with the gopis, he has a Vilas expansion. So Advaita Acharya was from in the original form. And so, because Advaita Acharya is the godbrother of his spiritual master, Lord Chaitanya thinks of him as like his own spiritual master. And Advaita Acharya always tries to touch his feet, but because he's 50 years older, and because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is bigger, he was like 7 feet tall or something. That's more than 2 meters, right? 2 meters is like, how tall is 2 meters? 2 meters is like 6 feet 9 inches. So it's almost 7 feet. So he was more than 2 meters tall. You go by meters here, right? So he was 7 meters tall? No, 7 feet. How tall were the Kshatriyas in past age? They were like 14, weren't they? Like 4 meters or more, 4 or 5 meters? Is that too big to fight with? You don't fight with people who are 4 meters tall? Not very often? Not more than once? So, and Advaita Acharya is saying that he's called Advaita because he is non-dual from God, and he is Acharya because he teaches by example. But he would always say, I'm just the servant of Lord Chaitanya, the servant of Lord Chaitanya, and the servant of his servants. So Lord Chaitanya was always giving him such awe and reverence and treating him with such respect. He was thinking, I just need to have Lord Chaitanya would chastise some of the others, so he thought, I need to be chastised. So Advaita Acharya started teaching from a book by Sadhananda Yogindra called the Yoga Vashishta. Anybody read the Yoga Vashishta? Anybody plan to read it? We're not supposed to read it. It's all the person. You go on the internet, it says it's taught by certain people. It is being taught, but we don't. Advaita let it be known that he was teaching this philosophy of Yoga Vashishta. And so Lord Chaitanya came very angry, and he slapped Advaita Acharya in the face. Old man. And Advaita was laughing. He says, I wanted to be chastised by you, so I devised this whole means just so that you would chastise me. And so he chastised him, and that made him happy. So we have to work to manifest the Lord's desire of bringing this chanting to every town and village. I almost thought I shouldn't go to Cape Town, but they had programs for me 6 nights. First night there was a program at the temple. Then we went to Rasaraj's house, and then there was a Friday program. Saturday we had a picnic, then the Sunday feast, and then nothing Monday, but Tuesday we had another program, and I left on Wednesday. I was always thinking I shouldn't go there because I had a few bit of health challenges, but I pulled off all the classes okay, didn't I? I was kind of wiped out at your house though, wasn't I? What's that? That juice, yes. Moringa. Is that what it is, moringa? That should help me out? Will that help with sleep issues too? Moringa. Yes. So we need to continue helping the spiritual masters and helping the Lord's mission, because they're one and the same. And that is why we bring the Lord here as Lord Jagannath and as Sri Sri Radharadhanath at the Chatsworth Temple, and as Nitai Gaur Hari in Lanesia. And we try to bring this Krishna consciousness to people. How well did you do here in your marathon? How many books did you do? Somebody know? 10,000. And they did 15 in Chatsworth, right? 4 years ago, I think Chatsworth did like 80,000, didn't they? What caused such a drop? Or was that all? Yes. And he didn't help from it from... How did he help it so much? Is what? Oh, sponsorships. And did he do sponsorships up there? Oh, so they must have had a bigger score than you then, right? Because he's a Gujarati, and the Gujaratis have the money. Any Gujaratis here today? All live in Mshlanga, right? Or Reservoir Hills? Is that where they live? Reservoir Hills is closer to Chatsworth than to here? Is it? It's closer to Chatsworth, right? What? Oh. But the Gujarati people go more to Sri Sri Radharadhanath? Yes? They what? The Kendra. The Kendra is different than the Saptamandir, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, they have a Saptamandir in Irvine, I think. But the Kendra, the Gujaratis all go there. So any questions or comments about this? Because I think we're right about at Artik time. Okay, shall we break there? I think it's 12:30 right now, isn't it? Isn't that the horn right now? Is it? That's not like a water faucet, that is the conch shell, right? All right. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So I would like to thank Shri Prabhu for coming and doing that wonderful class. Devotees, Friday is Nityananda's appearance day. You can see Ajuta Priya Mataji downstairs in the gift shop. Hare Krishna. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar ki. So now we'll commence with Midday Aarti.
Hare Krishna. So, Kadambakarana Swami Maharaj, 3 devotees will get initiated around 1:30. So, devotees can take lunch if you like to stay and be present for the initiation. It'll be on Zoom. So, it'll be welcome if you can do that. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastitari Sitarine Sani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Hare Krishna Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Gaura Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Jai Sachinandana Jai Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bol Nityananda Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Govinda Ram Chiman Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Shri Chaitanya Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita Gunath. Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhattara Gunath. Shri Rupa Jaya Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna Hare Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Hari, Hari.
Jai Om